Hello friends, today we are going to learn how to display Choropleth maps using Leaflet. So here as you can see on the map, I have displayed a GeoJSON file of India, and GeoJSON file is containing number of COVID cases in a particular state. So in a Choropleth map, it is showing state having higher number of cases with a dark color, and gradually as the number of COVID cases are decreasing, the color is decreasing its darkness. So as you can see over here, in the Maharashtra and Kerala the number of cases are higher, so it is showing dark, whereas in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and other states the cases are relatively lower. Gujarat is having even lower, and here Himachal Pradesh is having the lowest. So this is how Choropleth map shows the numerical data in range of light to dark colors for a numerical value. In addition to that, we are also going to have a title area in which if I move the cursor over the state boundary, it will show the name of the states and number of cases in that particular state. So you can see Madhya Pradesh is having 10.34 lakh cases, Rajasthan was having 12.75, Maharashtra was having 78.58 lakh cases. So we will also develop the code to display this interactive title area. We are also going to add a legend panel over here. You can see in the bottom right corner of the map. It is having a very good user-friendly legend panel wherein it is showing what each color is representing. So lightest color is representing 0 to 10 lakh cases, and darkest color is representing more than 40 lakh cases. So we are going to develop a code to represent this kind of a legend. So isn't it beautiful? So let us understand how to develop this kind of a map. And if you want to make this map dynamic, so what you have to do is you only have to replace the GeoJSON file at the backend, and automatically it will reflect the latest data onto the map as soon as the user refreshes the map. So it is very useful, and it can be useful for many organizations to display various kind of numeric data, a population density or literacy rate or any kind of information. So let us understand how to develop a map like this. So I have opened up a folder which is named Leaflet. You can see over here. So I am using Visual Studio Code for developing my application. So it is a Leaflet folder in which I am developing my application, and Leaflet folder is containing a resource folder. It is having data, images and leaflet libraries. So for data, I am having a India GeoJSON file. So it is a state boundary GeoJSON file, and you can see over here it is having name of the states here, and in addition to that it is having cases as an attribute which represent the number of COVID cases in that particular state. So this is a GeoJSON file. And other than that, in resources I am having images and leaflet library. So in leaflet I am having CSS and JavaScript file for accessing leaflet functionality. So we will start developing the application. So here in this leaflet folder I am creating three files. So you know which are the three files usually we create: index.html, style.css, and the other one is main.js. These are the three files which we have created. We'll start with index.html. So I will use Visual Code functionality to create the boilerplate. So as soon as I write HTML, it will create a boilerplate like this. Now let me give a title. So I am giving a title leaflet. It is Choropleth Map. So this is the title. Now I have to basically reference uh, JavaScript file and CSS file. Now I have referenced the CSS file. I will reference JavaScript file also. Now I am adding this line of a code. You can see over here I have added this line of a code so that when I open up a web page, I will have an icon like this on the tab. So to support that icon, I have added this line of a code. You can see over here we have to add a div element with map ID. One more thing that we have to add here is, as you have learned in the previous section, this is where we have our GeoJSON file. So we will add GeoJSON file as a script reference over here. So let me add a script and refer to GeoJSON file. Now what is the advantage of referring GeoJSON file like this? We can simply use it as a variable. So when I have defined GeoJSON file in the script and in the GeoJSON file itself, I have added a prefix with a variable. You can see variable India ST is equal to. When I add this prefix, entire GeoJSON file is available in the form of a variable to me when I'll be doing a code in my JavaScript area. So this is the advantage. So I have set a reference to our GeoJSON file. Now that's it for HTML part. Now we will move to our map.js. So in main.js, what I have done is I have added a code for creating a base layer. So I am using OSM map, OpenStreetMap for a base layer. So I have added a code for that. And here I am defining a map variable which will use map div element for reference to display the map. My map will be centered at this particular latitude and longitude. Initially when I open the web page, it will be zoomed at a scale of 5, and I don't want to display the zoom control, so I have made it false. And this is the base layer which I want to display by default on when I open the web page, so I have kept it in the layers here. So this is what we have done. Now let me save it and let us see how it opens. But before I do that, I have to define the extent of map in my style file. So let us go to style, and here I have added a code for styling my map. So you can see, first of all, I want the entire HTML document to be border box pattern, and padding and margins are 0. For body, I have set a font family of this Nunito Sans, and for map, I have given a height 100% width and 100% height. So this is what I have set in the styling. So now when I save it, and let me use the go live functionality, live server functionality of Visual Code. So it will automatically open this web page. And the beauty is that whenever I change the code and save it, I don't have to come here and refresh the page. It will automatically refresh the page for me. So now you can see we have OSM map displayed on the map. Our zoom in and zoom out controls are removed. So this is what we have configured so far in our code. Now let us move ahead. Let us come to JavaScript file. Now what we are going to do is we are going to display our GeoJSON file on top of map. So let us add the code for that. So this is our file. Here we will add GeoJSON file to it. Now as you can see over here, I have added a simple line of code wherein I am defining a variable GeoJSON, and I am using Leaflet's GeoJSON functionality to add India ST file into the map. So from where India ST is coming, you know that we have a GeoJSON file, and in that we have defined variable India ST. So I can simply use this variable to refer this entire GeoJSON data. So I have used that variable. I am adding it into the map. So let me save it and let us see how it appears on the map. So you can see, as soon as I have saved my code, it is automatically refreshing the map, and it will fetch and show the GeoJSON file. So our GeoJSON file is displayed with a default color and symbology. So code is working fine so far. Now while adding a GeoJSON file, I want to do some parameter adjustments. So let us do that. So I am adding a code over here. What I want to do is, first of all, I want to style the map when I am adding a GeoJSON file to it. So let me add a style component over here. I'll set the parameter for style. When I add a GeoJSON file, first thing I want to do is I want to assign a style. So to assign a style, I am calling a function called style. So I have to define this function, right? So let us define this function. So you can see over here, I have created a function named style. It is taking each and every feature as an input parameter, and then it is returning something. So let us understand what it is returning. For each and every feature, it is setting a weight, it is setting the opacity to 1, color is gray, and dash pattern is none, so it will be a continuous outline. Opacity is set to 0.9, so it will be almost opaque. And then fill color for each and every feature. Again, it is using some function called getColor to fetch color for each and every polygon for every state, and it is using properties of the state. Which properties? Cases. From here in GeoJSON you can see there is a property called case. So here it is a list of properties, and here there is a property called case. So to get the color for each and every feature, it is using these properties for case, and there is a function which will assign the color, get color function. So let us do the coding for get color function. So here this is a coding for get color function. It is doing very simple thing. It is giving the color value based on the number of cases. So let us understand from bottom. If the number of cases are less than 10 lakh, it will assign this particular color to the polygon feature. If the cases are more than 10 lakh, it will assign this particular color. Similarly, if cases are more than 20 lakh, it will give this color, more than 30 lakh, this color, and ultimately greater than 40 lakh, this color. So this is how get color will return the color value, and ultimately it will be assigned to a particular polygon, state polygon in the style, and finally this style will be assigned to a GeoJSON file. So let me save this thing and let us see how it appears on the map. So let us go to this website and let us see. It is refreshing. It will fetch the GeoJSON, it will assign the colors, and you can see excellent. So what we have done is borders are assigned as a gray as we have defined in the code, and each and every polygon is having color based on the number of cases. So if the cases are more, it is assigned some dark color. If the cases are lesser, it will be assigned relatively less dark color, and finally it will have the lightest color for minimum number of cases. So excellent, we have done color coding based on the number of cases. So this is nothing but a Choropleth map. Now let us add some interactivity to it. So when I move the cursor over it, it should display, it should highlight the feature. So let us add the coding for that, for highlighting the feature when I move the cursor over it. We will also want to add a title area over here, so that when I move the cursor, it should display the state name and number of cases in the title area. So let us do the coding for that. To support interactivity for each and every feature, when we are adding a GeoJSON file over here, we will add one more line of code. So on each feature, whenever each and every feature will be added, it will call a particular functionality on each feature. So let us define the function on each feature and what it is supposed to do. So you can see over here, I have defined a function on each feature which will support what should happen when each and every feature is added onto the map. So basically it will take feature and layer as the input parameters, and for each and every layer it will add the functionality mouse over and mouse out and click. So on mouse over, it should highlight the feature. This is again a one more function. On mouse out, it should reset the highlight. So again one more function, and on click it should zoom to feature. So it is a one more function. So there are three functions which we have defined, and it should do different things based on my interaction with the map. So let us define code for mouse over, mouse out, and click events. So here I have added the code for highlighting the feature. It is here for reset highlight feature and zoom to feature based on the interaction with the map. So let us understand these codes. So highlight feature is taking E as an input parameter, and then I have defined a variable called layer, and E dot target will be assigned to this particular variable. Now for each and every layer, because when I'm moving the cursor I want it to be shown as highlighted, so I want to change the style for that particular polygon. So I am setting the weight as 5. Earlier it was weight as 1. You can see the weight is 1 by default, but I am setting the weight as 5. I am changing the color a little bit. Dash pattern I am keeping as it is to none, and then I am changing the opacity also. So this is how it will look like the feature has been highlighted. I am just setting the style for that particular feature differently compared to other normal features. And then I'll bring to front that particular feature, and I will also update the information based on the layer properties. For time being, I'm commenting this line. We will come back to this particular line later. So this is the code which I have written for highlighting the feature. Now let us see the code for resetting the feature. So when I move the cursor away from a particular feature, it should reset the style of a particular layer, and again it should update the information. We'll comment this code and we'll come back to this line again. So it should basically reset the style which was earlier set to 5. It will reset over here when I move the cursor away from a particular polygon. And zoom to feature, when I click on it, so it will take map.fitBounds, where it will fit e.target.getBounds. So e means particular feature that we have clicked, and it will take the bounds of it and it will fit the map to that particular bounds of particular feature. So these are the three functions which we have defined, and when these features will be called, when each and every feature will be loaded onto the map, this functionality will be assigned, and it will be assigned when I am loading a GeoJSON. So we have completed coding for that. Now let us see how it works on the map. So let me come back over here. Again, it is refreshing the map, reading the data, and assigning all the color, symbology, and functionality. So you can see over here, when I move the cursor, it is changing the weight from 1 to 5. So it is thick, so we feel that it is highlighted. And when I move the cursor away, it is resetting the style. Now let me click on a particular polygon. So when I click on a particular polygon, you can see it is zooming to a particular feature to the extent of that polygon. So wherever I click on Gujarat, so it is zooming to a particular polygon. So all these functionalities are working perfectly fine. Now we will add a title bar here, title area. So let us do the coding for that. So just above the get color function, I am adding a code. You can see I have added this particular code to support this title area. So what I am doing is I am creating a variable which is taking l.control function. So I have created a class for that and assigned to a variable info, and info.onAdd. So whenever this info variable will be added onto the map, it should perform some functionality. So that function is taking map as the input parameter, and it is basically creating a div element, and it is updating onto the map. So this is the function that will create a div element. Now this dot update, so what should happen? So info dot update, it is again calling a function, and it is taking properties as an input. So whenever this function is called info dot update, what it will do is it will set the div element internal HTML to a particular line of code. So let us understand what it is doing. Whenever info update function is called, it will change the internal HTML. So first of all, it is using H2 element, and then COVID-19 cases in India. This is a static. So, and what next? It is using properties and properties.name. So you can see over here in this GeoJSON file, we have properties and properties.name. So here it will take the state name as the input, and it will add the state name into the title area, and at the same time properties.cases divided by 1 lakh. So because here you can see in GeoJSON file the number of cases are in absolute values, so we have to represent it in lakhs, so we are dividing by 1 lakh. So cases will be divided by 1 lakh. That's what is happening over here. So it will show the state name, and along with state name it will show the number of cases divided by 1 lakh, so in lakhs. And if I am not having a cursor over any polygon, then it will give the message over mouse over the state. So this is the functionality it is doing. So whenever info update function is called, it will show this into the title area, into this particular div element. Now when this info update function is called, you remember we have commented a line. So this is where we are calling the info update function. So whenever I am moving a cursor over particular polygon, I want to call info.update feature function, and then I'll provide layer.feature.properties as an input to this update functionality. At the same time, when I'm moving the cursor away from a particular polygon, I want to clear the content, so that I am calling info.update function without any inputs. So this is how it will be called. So let us see how it works. Let me save it. But before we do that, we have created this div element with a class info. So we have to set some styling parameter for it, where it should be displayed, how it should look like. So let us do the styling for it. So I have added a code for styling the info element. So you can see over here, I am giving padding, and then I have assigned the font. I have assigned the background color, and then I have assigned some shadow and box radius, so it should look beautiful. And h4 element, it should be black with some margin and padding. So this is what I have done. Now let me save it and let us go back to our map. So you can see over here on the right side corner, it is showing COVID-19 cases in India, and it is also giving the message hover mouse over the states. Let us do it. So when I hover the mouse over the states, you can see the state values are changing over here. You can see the state values are changing, and it is also displaying the number of cases in lakhs. So it is excellent. Isn't it beautiful? So we have changed that. Now finally what is remaining is we have to add legend in this bottom right corner. So let us add the legend. To add the legend, we will go to our JavaScript file, and at the bottom, let me add a code for that. So this is the code I have added to support legend functionality. Let us understand it. So basically I am creating a variable and using L.control, and I am positioning it in the bottom right corner of the map. So whenever legend control will be added, what I want to do is I am creating a div element, and I am giving it a class info legend, and I have created a variable which is nothing but a list, and it is having values based on my number of cases and intervals which we have defined. So if you can see over here, by creating the colors, we have defined like from 0, 10 lakh, 20 lakh, 30 lakh, 40 lakh. Same grades we have to use over here. So you ensure that 0, 10 lakh, 20 lakh, 30 lakh and 40 lakhs. I am also creating a variable labels, an array, but it is blank. So now what I am doing is I am looping through all the grades values which we have created in this, and for each and every grade I am creating a label which will basically get the color. So it is again using the same function get color for that particular grade. So it will be like first grade will be 0 to 10 lakh. So for 0 to 10 lakh it will fetch the color from this get color functionality. You can see over here, and it will fetch this particular color for 0 to 10 lakh. For 10 lakh to 20 lakh, it will fetch this color. So it is looping through all the grades and fetching the color. So it is assigning a color to a legend, and here it is assigning a legend to a particular, it is assigning labels to a particular legend. So when it will loop through all these grades, it will have number of labels in which there will be different color for that particular range, and it will assign a label to it. Finally, here in this code, we are joining all the labels which are assigned in this array with a break element. So each and every label or legend will be displayed on top of each other like this. You can see over here. So first what we are doing in that loop is we are fetching this color and assigning this label, pushing it into a label array. Second color we are fetching, assigning these particular gradings and pushing into the label array. So one by one we are fetching colors and labels and assigning into the array, and finally we are joining all the labels with a break element, so it will display on top of each other like this. That is what we have done in this particular loop, and it will return a div element. So legend on add event will add this return will div element, and finally we are adding a legend to the map, so it will display the way we want. Let me save it and let us go back to our map. So it is refreshing. So let us see it, if everything goes well, it should display the legend in the bottom right corner the way we want. Yeah, you can see over here we are having a legend. Yes, but why it is displaying like this? Because we have to add the styling component for the legend. So let us do that. Let me take you to the style.css. Here we will add the style for it, style for the legends. So you can see over here I have defined, like, for legend it should be text left aligned and what should be the height of the text. At the same time, for legend I element, you can see we have defined legend I element. So how it should look like, that we are defining over here in the style. So I'm giving width, height and float left, and margin and opacity. So let me save this thing, and now let us go to the map. So you can see we have a beautiful legend the way we want. So ultimately we have developed a full functional Choropleth map web application, in which all the polygons are color coded based on the number of COVID cases in that particular states. The map is interactive, so when I move the cursor over here, it is highlighting the feature. It is also showing the state name and number of cases in the title area over here, and it is having a beautiful legend. So this is where we are completing development of this Choropleth map into leaflet application. So I hope you are finding this useful. Next time we'll come with more exciting functionalities. We'll be developing a heat map using leaflet functionality. So thank you for your time.